Hello, 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 and welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Thursday, July 1st. We are now at the halfway point for the year 2021. That's gone by pretty fast. I think it has anyway. Um, I hope everybody is well. You know, we do these live streams on Monday nights at 7 and Thursday afternoons at 3. We try to talk about classic cars and Mustangs and Camaros and mopars and stuff like that. Try to answer questions about paint or bodywork or mechanical things. So if you are new here, uh, feel free to ask a pertinent, that's a good word, pertinent. I get a bell for that. Pertinent question that relates to classic cars. And we're talking like 50s, 60s, 70s, that kind of bracket of time. And we'll see if we can't answer the question. If somebody can answer the question, they get a bell. Even if it's me, I can get a bell. And if it's one of the people in the chat box over there on that side, it's a mirror image here. So I have to point to my left, which is on my visual right. Anyway, they also can get a bell. Just a little reward system, because we like to have people participate. Early on, we have Greg's Workshop checking in from Australia. Glad you're here. James Smothers checking in. Dragon, hey, Barry. Jerry checking in from Middle Tennessee at the Money Pit. Troy Justit, good afternoon, Barry and gang. Mason is apparently looking for some sort of a light up sign. I don't have any light up signs, and good luck finding them at Goodwill. Typically, you're going to find something like that at a yard sale or something to that effect, if you're lucky. Mason says, nice hat. Thanks. Appreciate that. Bob Knoll, good afternoon, Bear. I hope everything is all right with you. Yes, it is. So far, it is. We'll talk about that in a minute. Phil, MIM So Hi Gang. Phil checking in. Okay, Jade's outside. Is she still blue? It must be me. I guess I just don't want to see green. Yeah, I understand that. I've shared pictures. Of course, there it looks blue, but the that's not Jade. That's another car, but you can see the green there, and that's really the color. So I know I have it in the header for the YouTube, whatever thumbnail. So let's see. Mason's asking the same question. All right, Crash Rider, greetings from a wet and soggy southern Indiana. Well, that's the way it goes. Glad you're here. Jessica's Two-Car Garage, good afternoon all. Glad you're here. Mason, and where can I get me some more automotive stickers? Well, I think it used to be you could order a sticker pack from like Summit Racing, and they would send you a big bundle of stickers. But I mean, you had to pay for it. But I think they used to do that. Otherwise, you're just going to have to root around, see what you can find. Brian, almost forgot, but I made it. Hello, all. I'm glad you're here. Travis, giveaway today. I need one of them hats. Well, not this hat. This is a different hat. But I get it. You want one of the other hats. No, probably not going to do a giveaway on here, but likely I'll be doing a giveaway at 50,000 subscribers. So you might have a chance then. Ben, $5 super sticker. Thank you, man. Or super chat, one of the two. And Dave Haberman. Hey there. Glad you're here. I'm getting text messages from Robert Adams. I'm not sure what they're all about, but he keeps sending me text messages. I think he's trying to put something together on his Mustang. So anyway, that's my little distraction at the moment. I'm very close to 50,000 subscribers. Now, what does that mean? Not much. YouTube, the whole system, the way it's designed and everything like that, you could have 1 million subscribers, but if you only get 50 views, you don't get anything. So really the reality is it's about the view count. Whenever you look at YouTube, it's how many views do the videos get. So imagine I have 50,000 subscribers. If everybody watched my videos, everybody on my subscriber list, everybody watched my videos and gave it a thumbs up, things would go like a rocket. I mean, literally, it would take off, and the growth would be there, because that's what they see. YouTube sees, crazy likes and whatever comments and whatever on these videos. And as it generates more and more, then they start to promote it, and it goes crazy. So 50,000 subscribers, which is cool. I appreciate having 50,000 subscribers. I never would have thought, I've talked about this before, when doing this stuff and, at the body shop and in my home garage, but there's other people that have way more than I do. If you look at Scotty Kilmer, the guy that just yells at you and talks about Toyotas, he's got like, I don't know, 2 million subscribers or something, which is just crazy. But, if I had that would be fantastic. But as it is, 50,000 subscribers is right where I'm at. I mean, I'm 25 away or something like that. I don't even know where it's at right now. I was looking at it earlier. It says I'm at 49,975. So 50,000. Now, again, it's important. It's good, but the views and the likes and all that stuff is what really makes a difference. So let me move on. Mason, I can use one of Joe Daddy's garage hats too. Well, we've talked about that before, I believe. Travis, remember when you do your headliner, use those mini paper clips. Works great. Actually, I'm probably going to use the original pinch strips. I'll just cut it up into pieces and just use that. But I have done that before. I've used those paper clip things, the spring loaded, and they do work great. And Dave says Amazon has them compliance decals. Okay, so you're talking about like the car stickers and stuff for Mason. So there you go, Mason. I guess Amazon has those stickers if you want them. Troy, hit that thumbs up, then hit it again. Let's help out Barry. Well, you can only hit it once. If you hit it twice, it goes away. You got to hit it once. That's the thing. They track it, actual count. Jessica, some basic window paint skills, good printer and sticker paper. You can make your own. Well, yeah, you could. You could very well make your own. I don't know if Mason's going to want to try that, though. And Greg, hi, Barry, car is looking good. Yep, it is. As you saw, I did the backup light video where I installed those. And I know I'm a little out of sequence because in that video, you can see the taillights are in the car. And, of course, in the picture you see on the thumbnail, and there goes my Wi-Fi thing again. I don't get it. Anyway, so if you see I have the taillights in, and I shot a video putting that together, but I put the backup light video up first. Probably should have done it the other way around. Anyway, I'll have a video on actually I have a lot of stuff I filmed already because I filmed the backup lights, I filmed the taillights, I filmed installing the bumper, the trim on the deck lid, and the trim on the quarter extensions and the letters. All that. License plate light, I filmed all that stuff. So I just have to get it edited, get it all edited down and then move on from there. The other thing, I have been working on trying to get the fenders on the car. And so as I was moving, kind of forward on the car, I would need to put the headliner in. I know that, but I also need to I want the fenders off of the rack in the paint booth. I want them on the car. So there goes that Wi-Fi thing again. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Let me see if this is, no, that's not it. Anyway, I hope you can hear me. But I'm moving forward in the car. And one thing I want to address was getting, the sound in there on the floor, the firewall, finished that up. And so I was looking at like a little bit of time before I started doing this. And I thought, well, I'll put the wipers back in. So I did. I mounted those back in place. And in the process, I got to looking at the the windshield washer pump. This one has a foot operated pump on the floor. And I thought, does that work? And I tried it, and fluid came out inside the car on the floor. I thought, well, why did that happen? So anyway, I took the pump out of the car, and what I discovered, and I'm hoping this is working. What I discovered was somebody had taken the tubing, and it was inside the car. Because I was like, what is this grommet for? I saw it underneath on the floor, and I was like looking around, and there's a hole in the firewall for this grommet. And then I started looking at the hose. And the hose, I don't know if you can see this or not, it's, you can look against my shirt maybe. Something has eaten a lot of this hose. So I'm going to have to replace both of these hoses. And I'm sure it's not a big deal. But I know the pump did work. When I applied pressure, it did squirt out. But man, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. That Wi-Fi is just killing me. Now it's starting to come back. And the thing is, I've talked about this. I'm not even on. Not even on. The Wi-Fi is not even on. So I don't understand it. Let me see. I don't know what I still need to do here. Not metered. I don't know. So it's still showing a 1. Okay. Well, I'm hoping you could, Bob. I don't know. I have it. It's connected to Ethernet. That's the thing. I have my laptop on airplane mode. The Wi-Fi is turned off. The only thing possible is having it on. Yeah, tell wife to get off the internet. Well, I have a huge. Let me see if I can do something here. I'm getting tired of this. I try to keep this up to date. Let me see. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah. I'm going to try something. Because this is just irritating. I know it's irritating for everybody out there, too. Yeah. Okay, I can't connect to I can't connect to a hotspot on my. See, it shouldn't even be connected to my Wi-Fi. I don't understand it. It's impossible. It's impossible. Because I have it turned off. Just irritating. Well, the connection, the cable, it's probably 120 feet. Probably 120 feet. And I've checked the line several times. The line is good. I mean, it's. I don't. Let me see. All right, so Troy has sent me $10 for a coffee fund. I appreciate that, Troy. I don't understand why. Yeah, James, I get that. I mean, my laptop. Yeah, I don't know what else I need to do here because this thing's driving me crazy. But it should not even be reverting to Wi-Fi. That's the thing. There's no. It's not even connected to the Wi. I mean, at this point, it's not even connected to Wi-Fi. Let me see where if Charles Busby. Good afternoon from Huban, Pensacola, Florida. Glad you're here. Truck 1LT. Hey Barry, I pulled a measurement on my rockers. It's 5 3/4 as it should be. Once I get my pan stretcher figured out, where should I start attaching my pan? Trans hump out or rockers in? I mean, if you're doing a one-piece floor pan, you're talking about the whole thing, right? I assume. That's kind of tricky because we talked about it before. If you need to compress the transmission tunnel down or pull the sides in, so if you were going to strap things together, then it really wouldn't matter. But you want to make sure if you're dealing with the firewall that the firewall fits the transition and all that stuff. So again, if you pull it together and just start welding on either side, I don't know that would make any big difference. Dragon says, "LOL, it's an alcohol on the go pump." Yeah. Yeah, Bob. Okay. Her scramble tell you we have to get off the internet. Yeah, that may be part of it. Now it's not showing anything, so I'm just gonna have to keep on rolling and see what happens. Yeah, Dragon says that's within spec for the cable. Yep. Dude. LOL, Russia is hacking you. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes a quick reboot of a computer and internet router may help. That's true too. Unfortunately, the router is all the way at the front of our house, and I've messed with the computer before, and it just doesn't seem to make any difference. Greg said it's not real good there. Okay, truck one yes, one entire pan. Yeah, as long as you're, if you pulled it together, because I know you talked about that before, right? I think it was you where you had a gap. So if you pulled that together and you welded the sides in, then if it wants to pull apart, then that would help settle that floor pan, right? Just thinking about it that way. But if you started in the middle and you started pulling everything towards it, I don't know if that would work as well. Because the only thing you could weld in the middle would be the floor, the transmission tunnel at the firewall. So and I want to make sure I'm clear, because we talk about a one-piece floor pan, right, as just a center section pan, and then we talk about the full floor pan, which goes from the back of the car all the way to the front. That's the one, like I built the Brooklyn Pony off of, that base, the whole giant floor pan. Karsten is checking in from Denmark. I'm glad you're here. Troy, on my computer was saying that it was my router, but I understand you have a new one. Yep, I did get a new one, which makes it even more confusing. Because I thought I had alleviated this problem. Now, I will also point out, let me see. Travis sent me a link, a thing here. Yeah, network settings, internet settings. Yeah. I think I've done all that. I've done all that. And that's the crazy part. That's the crazy part. Let me just look at that one more time. All right, I can't mess with this right now, but I know what you're saying. So at the moment, it's working. At the moment, so we'll have to deal with that. Okay, Travis says good. Okay, Karsten, what about get Starlink? I think it's up and running worldwide. Well, that's I guess that could be a possibility, but I don't know what that costs. Hurst clears a bell now after I sent down to bare metal. What can I wash it with? Well, if you send it down to bare metal, I'm assuming you're prepping for epoxy. So at that point, you can, if you wanted to, you could degrease it. I've actually used Windex, just shot it off and wiped it all down and blew it dry. Some people say, well, Windex leaves a residue. Not that I've ever seen. But if you use like a wax and grease remover, that's going to remove any kind of material that's on there. So, there's also, I'm sure there's other metal preps out there, but that's basically what I do. Troy, if I put convertible floor on my fastback, would it cause problems with my seat fitment? I don't think so. I know the seat risers they're a little different, but the seat riser they use in a convertible is that one piece that goes over the center hump. So I don't think it would be a problem. I don't think, not that I know of, there's no difference between, let's say, the front seats. Now, the convertible has a different back seat. We know that much, but it should not affect anything up front. It should just be a same simple bolt-in setup. Rick Stevenson checking in. Glad you're here. James, I had our TV cause internet issues. Remember, TV still operate and use internet when turned off. Had to disconnect TV, presto, all good. Well, that might be a thought. I'd hate to go to that extent, but I might have to. Truck one, just a passenger compartment pan. I think there's a slight bend in the pan causing the gaps. I'm going with the strapping the rockers to pull the open pan flat when released. Okay. So it's just a center compartment pan. All right. Well, as it was mentioned before, somebody else had said about putting a sandbag in the middle to kind of push the hump down to help stretch it out a little bit. When you have if your gap is right side to side and you're just doing that interior floor pan, I'd be a little more hesitant to try to pull the car together. I would rather try to push the pan open to make it fit, because then you're not putting a stress load on the rear torque boxes and that sort of thing, or the front section. Just a thought. I know whenever I did the car that I did the whole floor pan, from the firewall to the tail, and the car, the car was just, you could flex it. So I pulled it together doing the strap method. So just consider that idea too, about putting some weight in the center to push it out. David and Cheryl checking in before going to work. There's a Dave Bell and a Cheryl Bell. Bob says, Bear, do you have Comcast? I do have Comcast, or Xfinity, or whatever. Yeah, I do have Comcast, and I have actually upgraded the speed. I paid extra to have internet speed, and I will say this: I got an email from StreamYard, which is who we're using for this service right now. StreamYard said there were connectivity issues on Monday. Something was wrong. So I'm even wondering if it's not something to do with the StreamYard, but it shows up as a Wi-Fi feature on the camera, on my little monitor up in the corner. So anyway, Pro Line News. Is it necessary to spray a sealer before base if the 2K was blocked out and wet sanded with 500. Well, let me tell you, I would, at this point, I would probably go ahead and put sealer down. And the reason I say that, I did that with this car. I did the 2K, and then I actually went back and I touched up some areas that just needed another shot of 2K. What it did is it ended up, I created some fuzzy areas, let's say, and I was able to kind of hide it with the paint. But had I gone over the whole car with a sealer, that sealer would have concealed all of those little fuzzy edges. It would have taken care of that, and then the color on top covers the sealer. So, I mean, if it's the difference being, let's put it this way too. If you sprayed the car with 2K, let's say you put 2 or 3 coats of 2K on, and you sanded and everything is done, and you didn't break through anywhere, or you didn't add any filler, or you didn't, have to touch stuff up, then I'd be okay with just going to paint. As long as everything is smooth, transition 2K, and there's no other repair work or anything you had to do, no reshoots or anything, then you're probably okay to just go with it. That's just the way I look at it. Truck one says copy no strap, sandbags it is. Okay. James, sealer locks in bodywork and blends whole car to uniform base. Yes, basically that's what I'm trying to say. Because when I did the first round of paint on this car, I found some spots that needed some attention, and like I said, I shot some more 2K on. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, it's just 2K. It's the same color. It's the same stuff. But what it actually did was, I sanded it. Everything was smooth. And when I shot color on, it wherever the end of that spray was, it created a fuzzy kind of look to it. Now, I kind of hit it by say, dry spraying color onto those areas and kind of blend it in. But had I taken just a little bit more time and sprayed sealer all over it, then it would have been good. And now it's kicked me back to the Wi-Fi thing. Bob says my internet is sketchy at times, and to get on and be a gamer, it takes all the internet I'm paying for, and I wasn't getting it because of bad connection. They found 3. Well, see, that's the thing. When I go to my internet speed test, I can click on speed test. Normally I hit the speed test and it goes fine. There it is. So my download speed is not fast right now. I don't know. Well, I'm at 236 megabits per second download speed. Okay, let's test speed to this computer, it says. While I'm doing that, I'm going to get a drink of coffee, get a look at it. Yeah, still saying 236 megabits per second. So it's showing it's got the right deal going, but I don't know why. See there, it's coming back. It's coming back on the Wi-Fi. My upload speed is 11 megabits per second. So I don't know what. I don't know what this is doing. Let me just look at this. Nope. It's all talking about using Wi-Fi stuff, and that's not where I'm at. Okay. All right. So Proline News says, thanks. I'm going to seal it before I move on to base and clear. Yeah, I would recommend that. But anyway, what I was saying before, I'd taken out the pump unit, and I'm going to replace the hoses and get that up in there. The other thing is I decided to pull out, even though I'm going to keep this. I want to keep the fresh air vent on the driver's side. I decided to pull it out just to make it easier to put in the kill mat and everything up in the top. And I also looked at it, and there was a little bit of surface rust on this mating surface. So I used some rust converter, and I'll just get some paint on it so it's not that big a concern. Now, the other thing that I ran into, I ordered a bunch of parts from NPD. Let me just show you. I ordered, even though these are okay, it would take some effort to get these looking really nice. They're not bent, but it would take some effort to get these to look really nice. So I ordered a new set of these. And I thought, okay, this would be great. New set. Well, this is the first one. I got one. They came separately. So I got one that's in this package. If you'll notice, these tabs are bent down. They're not supposed to be bent down. They're supposed to be flat. So I don't know what happened, but that's a minor thing. That can be fixed. Not a concern. Now, the thing is, this is the driver's side, right? Because it's got the fat portion on this edge right here. So if you set this in the car and the taper at the front, this is the driver's side. Yesterday, I received this box. Now, look at this box. That's one end. It's an accordion. Look at that end. What the heck? What did they do to this thing? Well, thankfully, if you were to look inside the box, there's the other half. Or is it? Well, guess what? It's another driver's side. It's another driver's side. How does that happen? Well, package is open. I wonder if somebody did send one back and they sent the wrong one. Because even the package, this one has 8191 1A. This says 8191 1B. So that's not going to. Or take pictures of it. I'm going to have to send all this, or contact NPD and say, hey, things are bad. We need to fix this. So, yeah, not what I wanted to see whenever I came home last night and had that sitting there. Driver's upload is usually around 15. That's normal. Yeah, I mean it's doing pretty good, but I don't know why it keeps tripping the Wi-Fi. Mason, hi, JD's Garage. I just ordered me a sticker pack of automotive stickers that will be shipped to me here sometime this week or next week. Well, there you go, Mason. He also ordered a JEGS sticker. Cool. James, a C68 Mustang restoration channel with Walt covered washer pedal pump to electric to keep hoses out of the car. Yeah, I did see that, when he had done that. For me, because I know he's going to be driving the car like cross country, I understand his idea. I don't know that I want to do that. I'm not. I doubt it'll even have fluid in the thing, because this car's not going to see rough weather. Steve, Footage Factory, checking in. I'll give you a bell for that. I hope you can get me okay. I still have this stupid Wi-Fi problem. Let me see. All right. I don't know. Nope. Nothing's helping me. Let me see where I was at with this. I'm going to try this one more time with network connections. It even says Wi-Fi is not connected. It says my let me try this. I'm going to try this, see if it does anything. Driving me crazy. Travis says right click to disable it. Yeah. Yeah, it's already, that's just it. It's already disabled. Yeah, it's turned off. Can't do anything else. And it actually tells me my Ethernet 2 is connected. I don't know what that means. And the Ethernet, on the one, it says network cable unplugged, but the second one it says it's plugged in. So I don't. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'll have to play with it. Now it's gone. Now it's back to normal. It's back to normal. Footies Factory. I'm in a hotel with faster internet than my house, so finally watching you live. But I see you're still very grainy. Either way, the Mustang is badass. Thank you. I agree. Dale, can you borrow someone else's laptop to see if laptop's a problem? Well, maybe. I don't know if I have. I don't. I think all my wife has is an iPad. So, Travis, it should say disabled, not connected. Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, it says Ethernet connected. Ethernet connected. Wi-Fi is turned off. So, anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on. So, like I said, I'm gonna have to send back, or maybe they'll just send me 2 new pieces. I don't know. Charles Busby, Ethernet port may have intermittent issues causing PC to search. It could. It could. I mean, this laptop is probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, but it's been chugging away and doing what it needs to do. Yeah, it could be bad connection. I don't know, Bob. I know it just drives me crazy. And I know it bothers everybody else on the live stream as well. So, but let's get back to, if we can, I'm going to have to get another set of those trim pieces for the grill. I still plan to use the Shelby style mesh or expanded metal grill. I'm going to try to, the one that I have, it actually comes up short because it's built for the Shelby nose, not for a standard. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to unfold the end pieces just to make them, see if they'll reach the ends. And if they do, I'm set. If not, I'll have to make my own and, of course, come up with my own expanded metal and stuff like that. And I'm considering the idea still of putting in something in the lower, in the lower, that the vent that I made on the cowl. or the valance whenever I created my own valance. Andres, what gears would you recommend for a street race 289? Well, that's a good question. What transmission's in it? What's the goal? Are you looking just for drag racing, or are you trying to do some sort of street racing or whatever? It's a tough question to answer. Do you have a 4-speed? Do you have an automatic? There's lots of variables in there. Typically, I mean, depending on what you're trying to do. Okay, so you're saying C4 just for some torque around town and occasional drag race. Okay, well, you have to think about it from a variety of standpoints. The taller the gear, the bigger the gear you put in, the lower your top end is going to be. So if let's just say you had, like my stock car, I had a 633 gear in my stock car. It was fantastic for racing, but I only could go, so fast. So if you're trying to drag race and you had, say, a 411 gear, it'll launch nice. It'll take off, but it's going to run out before you get to the, probably wherever you're drag racing. You'll run out of power because the engine can only run so fast. So if you had say you had a 300 gear, it's going to take off a little slower, but the top speed is going to be really high. Okay. So you have to find a happy place in between. 373 might be reasonable, but you're not going to get any kind of gas mileage out of it, which if you care about that. 355 is probably more a good ratio. We can probably get some input from some other people here. Probably, again, that's about launching, and it's going to fade out as you get faster, get towards the end of the run. So that would be probably my recommendation, something like a 355. James, Windows 10 goes extinct July 1st. Interesting. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know, because today's July 1st. Andres is thinking about putting in a T10. Well, that might be a good option, but you're welcome. You can look it up too, because I think there's charts online. So let's say you have a 289, it's making, well, let's just be generous and say 300 horsepower. And you're going through your transmission, drive shaft, differential, and you're running what size tire? There's a lot of things that come into play when you want to drag race stuff. Like a bigger tire is going to be, again, faster at the end of the run. Smaller tire going to be faster at the beginning, but you're going to run out. So whenever I believe there's charts available online where you can say, I'm running this engine, this transmission, I want this kind of top speed, or I want this kind of, time. What size tire do I run? There's probably a flow chart that'll get you where you need to be on that. I'm just giving you my opinion on the numbers, but there's a lot of variables that come into play. I have a friend who has a 68 fastback. I've shown this before. This is one that we did at the body shop years ago. And as you can see, it's got like 31-inch tires on it. And, he had a lot of debate on what size tire he wanted to run based on how fast he wanted to go. And, there's all kinds of things like that. So I believe, again, there's some sort of a chart metrics available that can help you with that even more than I can, because I don't drag race. I used to race dirt track. That's my extent of it. So, again, what they're doing. I don't know why it's doing this. James, I'm doing a stock 289 AOD trans with a 355 rear and 14-inch steel GT rim. So there's some input. So stock 289 with AOD trans and 355 gears and 14-inch rims. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. You look at the engine size, the capability of the transmission, the rear end ratio, and the tire size, and all that stuff has to connect and make sense. Because you could have there's so many variables, just too many variables to try to give you an easy push button answer. What I was going to say earlier, I think we were talking about how you doing and stuff like that. I went and had just some information. I had a physical yesterday, and while I was having the physical, he said he hasn't had a tetanus shot in years. Like, okay, let's take care of that. And based on my age and the fact that I more than likely had chickenpox when I was a kid, he said, "Have you ever had shingles?" And I said, "No." "Well, would you like a vaccine?" And I've heard good things about that vaccine. Also, man, right now by saying that, see what kind of thoughts show up to try to trigger responses on the chat. Because last time I talked about vaccine and COVID and all that stuff, chatbots started pounding the thing. So we're going to give it a second and see how well they're listening. But anyway, they said, "Would you like the shingles vaccine?" I said, "Sure, let's go ahead," because I don't want to deal with shingles when Well, they gave me the one shot tetanus in the right arm and shingles in the left arm. And they said, "Oh, this is going to make you feel, a little meh." What is this doing? Where does this come from? Why is this even popping up? Okay. So anyway, they gave me that shot in the left arm. I came home and I just was done. I was done for the day. It made me sleepy, made me a little dizzy. I said, "Okay, I'm done." So I didn't get to really do anything yesterday afternoon after having that shot. So just saying, sometimes you do something and it affects you later on. Travis, I have a 65 coupe. I put a 67 rear end in it. I think it's 1.5 inches wider. Finding wheels and tires was a pain. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure about that. Phil, have you swapped out the laptop with another computer, even a desktop temporarily? My bet is on a weak or dying network card on your laptop. Okay. Well, that could be too. I don't even know what that is, but I guess I could probably Google that and figure out what a network card is and go from there. Maybe I can just buy one and replace it, right? Is that a possibility? Because if that's the case, I'll just go buy one somewhere. I'm sure it can't be that hard, right? Take a Sawzall and some screws and cut it apart, piece it back together. I don't even know. So it's integrated to the motherboard. If you cannot find a network port on your laptop, okay. All right, so I'll have to look into that. Thank you, Phil. Karsten, I just got my last shot of vaccine today. Okay, hope that went well. I was surprised. I had the shingles vaccine. Like I said, it just did not. And I was just sitting on a chair and watching TV. Couldn't do anything really. I mean, I just felt blah. And then when I did go to bed, I couldn't fall asleep. So that didn't help either. James says, good luck buying laptops with a computer chip shortage. Yeah, that may be it. That may be a problem too. Joseph says, yay. Okay, well, there it goes. It's just triggered off to Wi-Fi again. Peter Gabriel, Byberry Management epoxy primer. What's your thoughts on what primer to use before paint? Not so much brand, but different types. Okay, so I don't know what kind of epoxy primer you've used. I did a video a long time ago on the light blue Mustang, and I sprayed the engine bay with DP90, which is a catalyzed epoxy, and it turned out super nice, super nice. So, okay, so you use PPG 498. I don't know if I know what that is, other than just PPG. What primer to use before paint? Okay. Oh, 408. Okay. Well, I don't know what's a suitable primer to go on top of that, because when you spray epoxy, you're supposed to. You have a window of like 4 days, I think it is, to add the next layer. So I don't know what your time window is, but normally PPG should recommend the next layer of material, because if you use a 2K, that works, but usually that's for something you want to sand. So I can't tell you exactly what is a compatible primer to go on top of the 408. So you might, if you have the data sheet, it might tell you on top of 408 apply whatever X is. That's usually my information. I go by the data sheets that I get with the paints, and it gives you those limitations as far as what timeline, what goes on top and different things like that. So just kind of research it from that standpoint. David Sherrill, got to go. Got to get going. Catch up with you when I get home from work. Great live stream. Thanks. Appreciate it. Wally, maybe find someone who can loan you a laptop as well. Yeah, that's a possibility. Steve, Dell Outlet has some good deals and in stock. Yeah, maybe that's just what I need to do, is just kind of forget it all. Dragon, at footage, you may need to adjust your resolution on your YouTube settings. It's hard to say. Hard to say. Tarn. I have a 6829 coupe with an Edelbrock carb. What's the best gas I should use? Well, ideally, you want to use non-ethanol gas. Ideally. I usually just run the standard unleaded. This engine was built. It has hardened valve seats and everything, so that's a good thing. So it's not going to affect it. But ideally, non-ethanol gas. And Steve Dickerson says, what compression, which is important too. That is important. If you have a 289 with an Edelbrock carb, because that's all I have right here, 600 carb on the 289 or 302, and it runs fine. James, epoxy seals metal, body filler stage, then sandable 2K, then sealer stage, then base and clear. Yes. Now, I know he was talking about his engine bay. So I didn't know if he was going to do, I didn't even consider if he was doing any body filler. Because the thing that sucks about the engine bay, the firewall and all that stuff, is sanding and prepping and all that. I think he may be looking at something to go from epoxy to just primer. Or he could use a sealer. I'm assuming, if we skip over the body filler and the sandable, maybe he can just go straight to the sealer and then spray base and clear, or whatever he's going to do with it. I don't know what his plans are for the engine bay as far as paint wise. Okay. Well, we're looking pretty good. I mean, right now, it looks like it's working. I hate to take my laptop to somebody and say, hey, what is this thing doing wrong? But I may have to do that. I have a friend who's into computer stuff, but I don't know if he would want to diagnose it for me or not. I just don't know. So anyway, I'm going to continue on with getting stuff on the car. I mentioned on Monday, I think it was, I put the glass all in the car and the doors work fine, but I've come to realize that there's some seals that I'm probably missing. Like right here on this door where the quarter glass meets the door. I think there's supposed to be some sort of rubber seal. I don't have that. Also, the fuzzy in the track is messed up. So I may end up taking all this back out. At least not the main window, but the vent window stuff. Taking it back out, redoing some things, and putting it back in. But at least now I know everything works as far as the not having to adjust the door at all. Dragon says regular unleaded is fine. How old is the car? But if it's newer, then you should be good on the plastic side. If things, I would check your rubber hoses in the new gas. Yep. Good choice. Steve, remember when we could buy leaded regular? Yes, I do. In fact, when I was racing my stock car, you could buy racing gas. I actually raced using 100 low lead airplane fuel. That was good stuff. A friend of mine gave me literally like 60, 80 gallons of 100 low lead because he was selling his property and said, "Hey, you want this fuel? Come get it." I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." So that's what I ran in my stock car. Whoops. James, next live stream due from house near router and see if it solves issues. Could be proximity. Could be. Charles, what do you prefer, a stripped car or sanded car? What media would you use if blasting? Well, for blasting, I prefer the car to be stripped, and if not, sanded, depending on what you're working on. Media blast is probably better. And if you were to use like the baking soda, or the not sand, but the wet media, that does a great job and it keeps any good metal from warping. So, but the thing is, once you do all that and you get it all, get it to bare metal, ideally you want to shoot everything with epoxy, get it all clean, you have all the debris out of it and spray it with epoxy, and then worry about getting stuff loose later, that you have to cut off. So I would rather do a media blast to a strip car and then get epoxy all over it, but not sand. I would avoid the sand. Bob, have a good weekend. 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, Bear. Yeah, you too. Thank you. Jessica, you may want to consider a small desktop that only will have better hardware for streaming, and you'll have a network plug. That's not a bad idea. James, never sandblast outer body panel or warp city. Yeah, good advice there. Good advice. Jerry, I use glass for blasting a car body. It leaves a very smooth finish. That is true. Good stuff. That works. Robert was out in the shop, crushed glass for media blasting. So there's another response. Andon, I have returned once again. Well, I'm glad you're here. Troy, have a great weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. Yeah, Monday night, 7 o'clock, we'll be here. And I may try to do something different with the computer stuff. I don't know. It's always something. It's always something that's causing a problem. Jeff, man, thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you. That'll go a long way. Chris, hello, just starting compounding the Firebird. Okay. That's a good thing. Hope that goes well. I've talked about it before. Of course, I did multiple rounds of buffing and, the compound and different stuff like that. And it just takes time. You can't get in a big hurry, and you can't set your buffer to high speed or you'll burn stuff. You know, so I don't know what you're using exactly, if you're using wool or anything like that, but I I try not. I don't go with a real high speed on the buffer for sure. Steve, we added a few gallons of 110 blue aviation gas to regular leaded and advanced the timing when headed to the drag strip. At least we thought we were going faster. Yeah. Chris, compound polish and wax to seal it. Yep, that'll work. Jessica, next time I'm here, I will be 39. The days are flying past now. I got a job that is my other hobby, so I don't feel like it's a job. Something to get back on my feet. Well, happy birthday early, and I'm glad you found a job that is not a job. That's always a good thing. It's always a good thing. And speaking of jobs that aren't jobs, okay. Michael Johnson just checking in after a very long time, made it through COVID. Good to hear that. Good to hear that. I'm getting close to calling it a day here. Let me see what my comment is. Boris, would you prefer to buy a classic car from someone you come across, whether it be a friend, got one, etc., or on a website? That's a tough question. I mean, if it was a friend that I knew and I knew their work and I could trust them, I would probably rather do that. If it was somebody at random, I always question what they've done to it and whether it's good or not. I've run into that several times. Website, they're going to take the best pictures of the car and say, look, it's fantastic. It's beautiful. Ask Wally. Wally knows all about that. But I'm not saying your friends couldn't also be trying to pass the buck on you. That's why I have a hard time considering a car that's already finished, in most cases. So I end up digging it over anyway. Robert, 110 low lead helps with octane, but it leaves a lot of crud in the engine even when running it for a short time. There you go. Brad, Jay's looking great, Barry. I can't stop staring at your shiny paint. Looking forward to more assembly videos. You're a huge influence on my project, Braddock's Garage on Instagram. Okay. Cool. I'm glad you're inspired. Chris, music and tool action Simonized buffer with foam pads. Had a bad experience with wool. Yeah. We'll bite you if you don't know what you're doing. James, aviation gas is great and mixed with unleaded. There you go. Okay. I'm going to have to call it a day. I've got to get some stuff done. I'm just trying to do a little bit here, a little bit there. I need to get the shock tower braces back in the car. I want to try to get towards getting the fenders on the car and obviously getting stuff done inside. There's it's a laundry list of things. There's a lot to do yet. But I'm trying to, I said it before, anytime you're into doing these kind of jobs, you don't just try to throw yourself at everything all at once. You can get overwhelmed. And even I get like that. Sometimes I just step back, take care of something small. Like I put the wipers in, small. Worked on getting the foot pump out. That's a small. Putting in the headliner, that's a big. Putting in the fenders, that's more of a big. But you can do those little things and you'll see the little bit of progress and it helps. Because it's got to be done anyway. Don't panic about it. Get the little stuff done as well and just have little check marks instead of big check marks. That all helps. So, all right. Again, I'm going to call it a day and get back on the car and get some stuff done. Jessica says, thank you, Barry. Take care all and be safe out there. Yes. Okay. So we'll be back. I'll see what I can find out about the laptop and the connection and all that stuff. He's still doing it. But I'll be back on Monday one way or another. Maybe I'll use my phone. I don't know. Maybe we'll go to the house. I don't know yet, but we'll see. But until that time, Stay well. Have a happy 4th of July celebration. Avoid clown with crazy fireworks. And take care of yourselves. See you.